Hi again, welcome to Calc with Cola. We're going to do the BC number 5 question, which I think is a great question. I know I say that about everything, but it's a really good question. So let's see what we got here. They give us a table, info about f prime, and they then give us h again. So a lot of fundamental theorem on this test, a lot. So right now they want us to find h prime of pi. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to find h prime by deriving both sides. I'm going to derive the integral. So when I do that, h prime is going to be equal to 1 plus f, the one radical, 1 plus f prime of x squared. So now if they want us to find h prime of pi, all we're going to do, h prime of pi, is going to be 1 plus f prime of pi squared. Well, pull that from the table. F prime of pi is 6. So then h prime of pi is going to be the square root of 1 plus 6 squared, or radical 37. Okay? That's probably worth 2 points if I had a guess. All right, letter B. What information does this formula provide about the graph? So this formula right here is the arc length formula. So that is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it's the arc length of f from 0 to pi. That's probably only worth the point. So if you missed that, don't worry. Ah, love a good Euler's method. Okay, Euler, so we got 2 step sizes of equal size to approximate to pi, and we're starting with 0. So that means my step size is going to be pi. I like to do Euler's with the chart. I think it's sometimes really good to have these procedures, not sometimes, all the time to have these procedures in math. So you can watch how I'm going to set up my chart. So I like to do x, y, dy dx, delta x, delta y, x plus delta x, y plus delta y. Okay? And what we start with is my initial condition, which they told me f of 0 is equal to 0. So now you're going to go up and you're going to pull all your dy dx information from the chart. So when x is 0, my derivative is 5. We just said delta x was pi because I'm going from 0 to 2 pi with 2 step sizes. Delta y is just these 2 columns multiplied together. And then x plus delta x is pi. Y plus delta y is 5 pi. Carry that coordinate down. And now go to x equals pi in the chart. So the derivative is 6. This stays the same. Delta y is these 2 multiplied together. And then x plus delta x is going to become 2 pi. Y plus delta y is going to become 11 pi. So that's what they were looking for. And your teacher might have taught you differently, and that's fine, using like linear approximation. I just like to teach it like this. Okay? And then letter D, I love. It's an integration by parts question, and it's pretty tricky because there's a lot of trig going on. So let's see what we got here. I'm just going to rewrite the question so I can scroll all the way down and have some space. Okay, so we're going to use Lipit to determine, remember Lipit, to determine which one is going to be U. So you always want to set this up because this was worth credit. U, du, and v. So Lipit, there's no logs, there's no inverse trig, but there is a polynomial. So your u should have been this. So then your du should have been 1 dt. And that means your dv is this whole thing right here. You have to integrate that to get v. Now I'm going to show the u sub off to the side because some of you can do it in your head. But I'm going to show you how to integrate this off to the side by letting u equal the angle. So I'm going to let u equal 1/4 t. I think it's helpful to write it like that instead of t over 4. So du is going to be 1/4 dt. And then dt is going to be 4 du. All right, I'm only going to plug in for what I underlined. So now we're going to have cosine u, 4 du, bring the 4 in front. Sorry, it's all the way down there. And then you have to remember the integral of cosine is going to be sine. So then this is going to become 4 sine 1/4 t. Okay, so that's what I'm going to write right here. So we're going to have 4. Let's stay consistent with my colors. We're going to have 4 sine t over 4. Okay, Now let's plug it into the formula. UV minus voodoo. We are doing some voodoo magic over here. Okay, we're gonna have U times V, so T plus phi, 4 sine T over 4, plus V du. Okay, so now this just stays. And when I integrate this, now the integral sign is negative cosine, so this is going to become negative 16 cosine T over 4 plus C. There we go.